Thanks. For more, we're going to turn to the rapporteur on the situation in Hungary at the European Parliament. Let's cross to Strasbourg. Tineke Strik is a member of the Dutch member of the European Parliament for the Greens. Thank you for being with us here on France 24.
Thank you for inviting me.
Before I ask you about discussions that have been held about specifically about rule of law in Hungary this Wednesday at the Parliament where you are, first off, your reaction to Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to Budapest.
Yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu is really a declared war criminal. If you look at the condemnation, the convictions of his blatant violations of international law by the International Court of Justice, and also this given this arrest warrant from the ICC, actually you would think that EU member states would abide by international law and also being in support, act in support of the ICC. The EU has decided more than 10 years ago to fully back and support and finance the ICC. So there's a clear moral commitment that the EU member states have made that they should also abide by the rules and the US warrant by the ICC to make sure that it functions, that war criminals can be held accountable. So with this is a flagrant violation what Orban is now doing, inviting Netanyahu with a very clear message that he will not go and arrest this man. Although he has announced that he may withdraw from the ICC, he still is under the obligation to arrest him and hand him over to the ICC. And if he's not doing that, I think the EU should really address this issue with Orban and make sure that there has to be a commitment from the EU towards the ICC, towards international law.
Yeah, there's been a press report that was out on Tuesday that says that Hungary is considering a full withdrawal from the International Criminal Court. If Hungary does so, is that a violation of its commitments as an EU member?
There's no real clear legal obligations for member states to be part of the ICC. So it's really difficult to enforce the decision to stop this decision to withdraw from the ICC. But there's also this moral commitment, and as I said, this decision that the EU member states made together in 2011 to be in full support of the ICC. Now, withdrawing from the ICC is the opposite, of course, from giving support and abide by the decisions that the ICC has made. So we have to figure out exactly what the EU can do. I am drafting written questions now to get more clarity from the European Commission about what steps the Commission and also the Council can take towards Orban on this situation.
Is it unfair to single out Hungary on this issue since Germany's Chancellor-in-Waiting has said that he would not arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he came to Germany?
Exactly. This is, I think, one of the delicate elements of this issue, that it's not only Orban. It may be Merz in the near future. Tusk, the Prime Minister of Poland, has said the same. So actually, I would say they are sort of partners in crime by inviting him and allowing him impunity, actually. And I think especially we have to see if it can be enforced, but at least I would say that EU member states do have an obligation to abide by international law. And this would give the signal, that war criminals enjoy impunity also when they are at the territory of the EU. And I think that's a very dangerous precedent also for other war criminals.
Now, you, Tineke Strik, have been outspoken when it comes to rule of law and enforcing it when it comes to Hungary, arguing for suspension of EU funds if they don't meet their rule of law commitments, the Hungarians. There's been a debate this Wednesday in the Parliament where you are over the decision by the government of Hungary to ban Pride Day events for LGBTQ communities. How far should Brussels go?
I think very far. I think Orban has crossed so many lines already. I mean, it is about banning the pride, but it's about much and much more. He has slowly turned Hungary into a kind of authoritarian police state. It's not only the right to assembly of the LGBTI community that he is now opposing and prohibiting. He's actually restricting right to assembly and freedom of expression for everyone. A few weeks ago, he was very clear in a quite alarming speech saying that he thinks that NGOs, journalists, judges are parasites that need to be eliminated. He has already reached that state of hate speech. And you see that he has gained complete control over the media. So what people hear on a daily basis is only his propaganda. He has get complete control over the judiciary. So people cannot be protected anymore by independent judges. So their lives and their rights are restricted more and more. So what I said today also, if not now, then when? The moment has arrived. And he's not only a danger for the Hungarian citizen, but in the meantime, also for the security of the EU. He has revealed itself as a puppet of Putin, and he's really defending Russia's influence and power inside of the EU. You can see that with blocking sanctions for Russia, blocking support to Ukraine, blocking any defense decision of the EU to make sure that we are protected against Russian influence, and now also with the accession talks of Ukraine. So I think, and I really hope, that member states have become alarmed. Putin has isolated himself. He has become a kind of Trojan horse within the EU, and we have a perfect tool for that, and that is taking away the voting rights of Hungary at the moment, because only then we can stop him from blocking and blackmailing the EU, but it would also be a very strong tool to stop him in further turning this country into an autocracy. So it would also be the best option for the Hungarian citizens, that they can regain their freedoms.
Now, this is something that you and others have been advocating for years, and now you have this standoff that's brewing not just with Russia, but also we saw with the Munich Security Conference and that speech by J.D. Vance with the United States as well, siding with Russia against Ukraine. Gauge the mood for us right now in Brussels. Is there more or less determination to take on Hungary than before?
There's definitely more determination right now, because people also, indeed, the EU and the member states feel that we need to position ourselves against two important enemies at the moment, and we cannot afford to have an internal enemy that can frustrate the actions that we really need to take right now.
It's got key neighbors, it's got key players in the region, Germany, Poland. Do you see them leading the fight here?
Well, it's just a few days now that Germany seems to move. Germany seems to become more and more determined to be a front runner, to get this coalition, to use this so-called Article 7 procedure that we have in the Council, in the treaties. I think Poland would be definitely one of them. Actually, at the moment, we have 19, let's say, like-minded member states who really want to take the first step, coming up with a decision or recommendations. We still need 3 more member states for that, because we need 22 member states to take a first step. But for taking away the voting rights, we need a unanimous decision, apart from Hungary, of course. So we need the 26 member states united in this decision. We have seen now recently, and that's quite unique, declarations being signed by 26 member states regarding Ukraine, regarding Russia. So I really hope now the member states are going to use their leverage towards some member states who are still reluctant to say, look, you have to align with this because it's the only way that we get forward and we will be able to protect ourselves. We don't know if it will happen, but there's definitely movement going on right now.
Tineke Strik, so many thanks for speaking with us from Strasbourg.
Thank you. Thank you very much.